All right, so I wanted to squeeze this video in just because we've come across new problems that are very common on EcoBoost engines. I mean, it's a simple problem, but it'll ruin your month, your week, whatever. So it's not just for Ford Raptors, it's anyone with an EcoBoost. We were driving, we were gonna do the last off-road video before we turned the truck in, and we never made it. I had to pull over. I was driving, 2 hard gear shifts went in. We were going uphill into the wind, so I was accelerating kind of heavy, well, more than normal. I did a lane change, so luckily I was looking in my mirror and a bunch of white smoke started flying everywhere. I immediately pulled over and I started looking for the leaks. I assumed just some transmission fluid was leaking on some hot pipe somewhere, and I couldn't find it because all the skid plates. I couldn't do a good job. It was windy that day, like whatever. Called the tow truck, sent it over to Ken Grody. They looked at it, they changed the oil seal gasket for the transmission pan. I went to go pick it up later on, and by the time I got home, did I get home? No, they called me. They told me it was ready, and then later on they called me and said, you know what, don't come, there's a puddle of oil. It looks like we have to change out your oil pan for the transmission. That was a hassle. They hooked it up, and Tim over there was able to get it, was able to emergency order me one, but I think there was like 2 weeks out on back order, because it's a common problem on EcoBoost engines. Ford, for some reason, they dropped the ball on 2 places on this vehicle. The brakes, the stock brakes are horrible. Oil pans, for some reason, they made them out of composite material instead of sheet metal or anything else. I don't know, I guess you could do forged too. The oil pans, since they're composite, with the heat, they warp. And once they warp, they don't seal right. And if you go onto the forums, it's a real common problem. Some guys experience the issue before the first oil change. I guess I'm lucky that I didn't get it till, what, around 16,000 miles. But some people even recommend every time you change the oil, change out the oil pan. That's a little extreme. So I was looking around, I couldn't find any aftermarket parts for it, just anything better, something just more reinforced, something stronger, better material. There's no market for it. And it's a big problem on all EcoBoost engines, not just Raptors. Whatever, I drove it home. By the time I got home, it started leaking again, just smoking. Ken Grody sent a tow truck out. They took it back. It was just a dumb mistake. One of the breather lines hoses was installed wrong. It was their mistake. They totally owned up to it. They made it right. Luckily, I have a 3rd vehicle, but they were going out of their way to make it right. So I can't complain about that. That dumb, tiny little issue of just having a composite oil pan put the truck out of service for 3 weeks. We just got back from the dealer. Sat here for like 2 hours. Fuck. Association's gonna be pissed. Bye, truck. Kind of like that finish. Right? It looks cool. Yeah. Will you get in trouble for the oil?
Nah. It's just, we got a DUI checkpoint later on.
Oh, fuck.
So we gotta keep the truck clean.
Oh, alright. Yeah. They won't care though, huh?
Well, it's gotta be in Garden Grove.
Oh, shit.
So,
I'll let everyone I know in Garden Grove know.
nah, man, I need the money.
Oh, that's right. I didn't know at the time. I know now. A couple race mechanics have told me this already, and just more experienced off-roaders. Again, I don't even got a year in this. My only experience before this was quads and dirt bikes, so I got a lot to learn. But I was jumping it in 4-wheel drive. It's really easy to just put it in Baja mode and just romp it, and you see a jump and you just take it and you end up being on 4 high. Now I know better, but I've mentioned that problem to a couple Raptor owners and they just look at me wide-eyed because they've been doing the same thing. I just sent mine a little harder, I guess. But yeah, jumping a heavy vehicle in four high is not you're gonna bump into a lot of problems when you land. All the torque and inertia on the wheels, once it hits the ground, it doesn't go anywhere. It just kind of binds up and locks, and my front axle shaft, not my front transmission, my front axle shaft basically exploded inside the boot, just because of that. It's just too much torque, it's just too much pressure. It's nothing's designed to handle that. So for other Raptor owners out there, if you're jumping your truck in 4 high, you're gonna come into a bunch of problems. So don't do that. Just keep it in 2 high, whatever. Rump it in Baja mode. If you get airborne, you're fine, whatever. But if you actually set up for a jump and you're gonna send it and little by little max out your suspension, just go ahead and put it on 2 high. So I didn't know at the moment. I know now. On a previous video a long time ago with sand paddles, Tim at NorCal Raptor on Instagram, he commented on the video and told me that you could do 2-wheel drive in Baja mode. You didn't need 4-wheel drive. I'll show you guys how to do that. But yeah, if you're gonna jump, whatever, or just say, even if you're just going hard on whoops, you could, I mean, it'll make you a better driver if you just want to drive in 2-wheel drive in Baja mode still, so your ABS system is still, it still allows your wheels to lock up so you can stop faster. So I highly recommend that. It's a lot of fun. I have been warned by a few people that you stress out your engine a lot when you're only in rear-wheel drive. You're at higher RPMs, and then you're getting tail happy. So, I mean, you're doing throttle control, you're flooring it more. I guess the engines don't like that. So pick your poison. Save your front axles or abuse your engine a little bit. Also, another thing I wanted to clear up, the tire pressure. I told you guys I run at around 38, 39 because that's where I found where it wears evenly. A lot of guys on the comment on the long-term ownership video, they were nice. Everyone told me, no, dude, go by the door, not by what it says on the sidewall. The sidewall is just for that tire, the max air pressure. And I guess since the tires and the shocks were kind of R&D together for this truck, I just went by it and thought, oh, the recommended tire pressure is overinflated. No, yeah, I'll show you guys. If you open the door on the door jamb, just out of dumb luck, it says 38 psi is the recommended pressure, and that's where I found was the sweet spot where you don't get uneven wear. So yeah, that's accurate, and thanks to all the guys in the comments that pointed that out. Yeah, lower your tire pressure to 38 psi. Remembered another problem with these trucks is the key. I don't know if on all trucks, every Ford I've had, you need a key to get to the spare tire. We had a blowout once. What the hell is that? We had a blowout once, and yeah, I had the carbon fiber covers on the keychains that I got from Amazon just because they look cool, and I basically had to break it to get to the little lock, the little metal key inside the remote control key to unlock the spare. It's a pain. You might want to practice doing it, or if you have your key, just open it up so you know. So if you're just stranded on the side of the road under stress or whatever, you might not be able to get that key open very quickly if you don't already know how. And speaking of changing tires, the factory jack, if you're on the street, it works fine. I think on one of our sand paddle videos, the jack buckled on me. It just folded in half because we were uneven, the sand's soft, I put blocks, whatever. But yeah, you gotta get yourself an off-road jack if you're gonna go on the dirt. I got a cool one from Feltz Motorsports. They're pricey, but they're awesome. And yeah, I replaced the factory jack just because that old saying, 1 is none and 2 is 1 or whatever. I always wanted to have a backup on the truck just in case I stripped the bed or took the jack out or whatever. But yeah, the factory jack sucks if you're not on the street. And so be careful. The truck fell on me. Well, it didn't fall on me, there was no injury, but yeah, it could have caused a serious injury. Rust, I didn't notice it. Our friend Tim up north, not the same NorCal Raptor, another one, off-road Raptor, he's got a 2017 Ford Raptor as well, and he noticed a bunch of rust on his undercarriage, suspension, around his arms, all that stuff. We met up with him at a run in Barstow, and he looked under my truck, and he said there was a little bit of rust. He was just being nice, though. I guess my truck's got plenty, just as much rust as his. When I took it to Ken Grody the last time, I mentioned it to them, but how my suspension is going to get completely changed out, it was no big deal. But yeah, they told me since my suspension had been voided because stupid Chino Hills Ford, that they really couldn't do anything for me, but that they could fix it for me at a substantial discount. So that was nice. But yeah, if you look under your trucks, and if you're anywhere in Southern California, take it to Ken Grody and they'll fix it for you. I don't know if all the dealers would fix it for you. I know I don't think Tim was very satisfied with what his dealer told him. But yeah, that's my point. You got to know what dealer you go to. You got to pick a good dealer. Not every dealer is nice to off-roaders. Or, I mean, if you abuse your Raptor, though, they use it as an excuse to void your warranty, which I get it, but it's also worth mentioning the good dealerships, the good service departments that hook Raptor owners up.
All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll put links in the description to all the guys I just mentioned. I'll put a link to Ken Grody Ford in case you guys are in Southern California. And we got some more videos coming up still, even though we don't have the truck. We got some G-Wagon off-roading videos. We just picked up a Chevy Colorado ZR2. We got that off-road video too coming up. And I'll post a little picture for you guys, that you guys see some fender work, whatever, just some of the progress on the Raptor. It shouldn't be too much longer, but it's a big process. Again, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe and like. And if you have an Apple, I'm sorry. I know my phone kept going off while I was talking. I'm sure you guys checked your phone once or twice. Thanks for watching. All right, so quick explanation. The guy doing this, Robbie Woods, I'll put a link in the description to him too. He's a bit of a perfectionist, and there's some aftermarket fenders on the market that we could have used, but the fit and finish isn't right. Where the headlight meets up, where the bottom of the bumper and the bottom of the front guard, they just don't match up right. So he wanted all the lines to be perfect. We wanted to look as close to stock as possible. I think they're about 5 inches wider. But yeah, check out how well he made all the lines meet up. I guess this is his process, but you got to sacrifice the fenders, but you end up with a super clean product.